In this presentation, we are going to learn about Wheatstone network. Otherwise, it is also called as Wheatstone bridge. Here, it's a very classical circuit. By using this circuit, we are able to calculate the unknown resistances. Otherwise, we are able to calculate or compare the resistances in the circuit. Here, in the circuit, 4 resistances are connected in a specific fashion. Here, this P and Q, this path it acts like a path to the current. Here another path is there, that is the current is passing through R and S. Here one path is there, here another path is there. In between these two paths, this portion acts like a bridge. That's why this is called Wheatstone network or Wheatstone bridge. Look at the circuit here. P, Q, R, S, 4 resistances, they are connected in the 4 arms. And one battery that provides sufficient EMF to operate the network. Here therefrom from the positive end, the conventional current it starts flowing at A in this particular junction. That I is split into I1 and I2 current, that is branchized. That I1 it passes and it reaches the point B, junction B. There I1 is split into IG and I3. So the current passing through Q is I3. The current passing through galvanometer is Ig. This I2 and Ig both they meet at D, and this Ig and I2 both are added up and it becomes I4. Okay, again I3 and I4 they are meeting at the junction C, and I3 and I4 both have to be added at C and it becomes I. Finally, the conventional current what was started here, that again it becomes I, finally it reaches the negative end. Here this is the explanation regarding the current flow. So here we are going to derive the condition for bridge balance. Okay, we are going to derive the condition for bridge balance. Bridge balance means the current will flow only through this path. Through the galvanometer the current won't flow. So by the time the bridge is said to be in a balanced condition. So when galvanometer current is 0 means by the time the current flow will take place only in this 2 path, there won't be any current. Such condition is called, what is this? Bridge balance. For that we have to derive the condition. Okay, for that purpose we are going to use 2 laws. One is called Kirchhoff's first law and Kirchhoff's second law. Kirchhoff's first rule, I am going to apply the Kirchhoff's first rule in this both the 2 junctions. So at B I am going to apply the Kirchhoff's first rule. At B junction I am going to apply. Look at the diagram, the same thing is drawn here. This is the current which is traveling towards the junction, therefore plus I1. And here these 2 currents they are leaving away from the junction, therefore negative sign must be written. Already I have taught these concepts in the previous discussions. Okay, so I1 minus I3 minus Ig. I3, Ig both are leaving from the junction, therefore minus sign is written. So finally at B there won't be any current in the junction, therefore 0. So this is the rule applied at B. Again one more junction is there at the bottom. At D I am going to apply the same Kirchhoff's first rule. It is magnified here. Current entering towards the junction is I2 and the current entering towards the junction is Ig, therefore plus Ig. This is the current leaving from the junction, therefore minus I4. Finally at D there won't be any current, therefore the value is 0. Algebraic sum of the current meeting at any junction is 0, no, that's why I have written. Therefore Kirchhoff's first rule is applied in both the 2 junctions. Come to the loops. Here A, B, D, A. In this arm, in this loop, we have to apply Kirchhoff's second rule. Already I have taught about Kirchhoff's rule. Now I am going to apply the Kirchhoff's second rule in the loop A, B, D, A. Okay. Now I will apply, you follow that. Here current travels in this arm is I1. The respective resistance is P. Here the galvanometer is having some resistance G. This resistance is named as R. Now apply now I1P. I1P, product of current and resistance, that should be added. I1P. Look at the direction. This is a traveling direction. A, B, D, A. the same direction current flows, plus IgG. Note down here, G is not galvanometer. Galvanometer coil, it possesses some resistance, therefore that resistance of the galvanometer should be taken into account, IgG. Now I am traveling in this direction, but here the current flows in the same direction, that's why both are written as plus. Here look at here in this arm, while traveling what happens? It travels in this direction, we are traveling in this direction, current flows in the opposite direction, therefore minus I2R must be written. So in this arm there is no EMF, there is no battery, therefore it can be written as 0. There is no battery, there is no EMF, therefore 0 can be written. So this one can be taken as 1. Now I am going to apply the Kirchhoff's second rule in another loop. A, B, C, D, A. Apply A, B, C, D, A. Apply the rule now. Now multiply the current and resistance. I1, P. I am traveling in this direction. Current also travels in the same direction. I1, P plus. Now I am moving in this direction. Current also traveling in the same direction. Therefore I3, Q. Come in this direction. I am moving in this direction. Current flows in the opposite direction. Therefore minus I4, S. Again I am moving in this direction. Current flows in the opposite direction. Therefore minus I2R. In this arm also there is no EMF, there is no battery. So therefore we can write it as 0. This is equation number 2. Okay, now we have to say the important thing now. We have to consider that both B and D, the junction B and D, both have to be assumed that both are at same potential. Which two terminal? That junction B and D, both have to be assumed that both are at same potential. It shows that same potential means both B and D, they have same number of electrons while current flows. When same number of electrons are there in B and D, there won't be any current flow. Are you clear? Therefore, current passing through galvanometer will be equal to 0. Very important thing. So when current is not passing, it is said to be the bridge is in balanced condition. Very important thing. So wherever Ig comes, there we have to substitute 0. So here this Ig to be substituted here as 0. So what will happen? I1 substitute 0. Finally you will get I1 will become Ig. Here in the second step also what will happen? Substitute 0 here. I2 will be equal to I4. Wherever I1 comes, there instead of that we can write I1 becomes I3. Wherever I1 comes, you can write it as I3. Wherever I2 comes, there you can substitute I4. So here in this equation 1, which one is there? That Ig is there. Now the equation 1 can be rewritten like this. I1 P, substitute 0 here, minus I2 R is equal to 0. Okay, so here this is the equation number 1 is rewritten. Now equation 2, that can be written in another form. I1 P is there, and then instead of I3 we can substitute I1. Therefore plus I1 Q. Okay, and then minus, instead of I4 we can substitute I2. I2 S. I2 R. So this is the equation that is rewritten in the case of number 2. Are you clear? The same equation number 2 can be written in another form. I1 can be taken out, P plus Q can be written, and then minus I2 can be written outside, R plus S can be written is equal to 0. The same equation 2 can be split. How? I1 P plus Q is equal to I2 R plus S. Are you clear? Now the equation 2 is rewritten in this form. Any doubt on this? So this is equation 1. Now this equation 1 can be written like this. I1P is equal to I2R. So it is written in this form. Any doubt on this? Now this equation can be written as 3. This equation can be written as 4. Any doubt on this? Now this equation 4 can be divided by equation 3. Very important step. Now we are reaching the final steps of the derivation. Now this equation 4 can be now the equation 4 that is to be divided by third equation. Substitute I1 P plus Q is equal to I2 R plus S divided by, here this part should be written I1 P, here this part must be written I2 R. I1 can be cancelled, I2 can be cancelled. The remaining factors are P plus Q divided by P, which is equal to R plus S divided by R. Here this one can be split, P by P plus Q by P, which is equal to R by R plus S by R. This portion becomes 1. This portion also it becomes 1. Therefore this 1 and 1 by both can be cancelled. The remaining thing is Q by P is equal to S by R. This one can be written as per the textbook we can write P by Q is equal to R by S. This is called as condition for bridge balance. What this condition says, here if this resistance value is divided by this one, that ratio that should be equal to this division, that is R by S. By the time what will happen, the potential at B and potential at D, both of them will be equal. The current passing through galvanometer will become 0. So this is the condition called condition for bridge balance in Wheatstone network. By using this, any unknown resistance can be calculated. Okay, here I will assign some value and I will tell you how to find out the unknown resistance. For example, if P is not known, I will assign some value. For example, 10 ohm, Q value is 10 ohm, R value is 6 ohm, okay, and the S value is 12 ohm. By using this 3 known value, you have to find out P. Find out the value from the formula. P is equal to, interchange the formula, this is unknown, R into Q divided by S. So this is the formula. Substitute now. R value is how much? Here R value is 6, Q value is 10, whole divided by S value is 12. If these two values are divided, what you will get? You will get 2, finally you will get 5. So P value is how much? 5. So here the unknown value that can be calculated by using the condition for bridge balance. Okay, so that is the purpose of learning the Wheatstone network. Thank you.